What's up, chumps? I am Jay Enterprise. It is movie review time again. I am by no means a professional critic. Just someone who loves movies, loves talking about them. I'm not going to be giving out any letter grades or star ratings. See it for yourself. Be your own judge. Today we're going to go back to 1997's Batman and Robin. Welcome back. For those of you who braved to come back, I know these are riveting videos. Movie reviews, movie discussions,
What is it?
Batman's history in film. What are you looking for?
Jingle All the Way.
Oh.
Yeah, because I wanted to look at a much
Alphabetical.
I wanted to look at a much better Arnold movie
Very-
for a minute. 'Cause he got top billing for this one too.
Yeah, this was when Arnold was
Yeah.
getting into the family-friendly genre, as we have now arrived to Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
What a joke of a film.
I love this movie for all the wrong reasons.
I actually, to be honest with you, I think I like this one better than Batman Forever.
I don't know. I probably have seen, I don't know if I've seen this one more. But it's a memorable film. Of course, all the wrong reasons. Like, it's almost like 66. Like, just
66
horrible,
is so good.
Just, but in a way, like, just horrible script. I mean, that's essentially the fall of this film is when people say, like, what a bad Batman Clooney was and all this stuff. I'm like, really? I'm like, you don't think Clooney could have pulled off Batman? It was a horrible script. And confirmed his words. Joel Schumacher, before every take of this film, said, remember, guys, it's just a cartoon. And Chris O'Donnell said himself, this movie was made very quickly.
Yeah.
There was, I think, 2 years between the release of this and Batman Forever. And it was essentially made because, again, the merchandise for Forever exploded. And it was, I think there was a pressure from, what do you want to call it? I think McDonald's was one of them, to get more stuff out because they killed it at McDonald's. They killed it in the toy stores. Like, it was a very successful movie when it comes to merchandise. And essentially, that's why they rushed this one out. Granted, I think they probably could have spent 4 years making it. It still would have been bad. But still, take it for what it is. It's a bad movie. You can't go into it, now and expect, like, maybe it'll get better. It doesn't. Yeah.
But it's ridiculously entertaining. I think that's all that matters, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where to begin? I know it's almost cliche to harp on this movie, but I'm a self-proclaimed music snob. I love movies. I'm not a movie snob. I'll give it a pass if I'm entertained, and I'm certainly entertained by this movie. You mentioned Clooney before. Clooney was an okay Batman. But because he's George Clooney, I thought he made a fantastic Bruce Wayne because Clooney just has that classy, debonair type of look to him.
Or he could have. They didn't give him much as Bruce either.
They didn't. His
it was
main
generic Bruce with flashbacks, and there's a love interest.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne's main plotline in this movie was he doesn't want to propose to Elle Macpherson.
Right.
That's really all he had going on. There was a lot going on in this movie because you introduce Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl. You got Alfred's illness. You have two main villains, but Bane he's an upper mid-carder in this one. He's on screen a lot.
And he's a main villain in reality. But in this movie, he's a B villain,
What would you do if I told you that this is my favorite movie version of Bane?
Are you talking about aesthetically?
Aesthetically.
Well, that's okay.
Because I feel like that's how Bane should look. That's the closest, I think, people can get Bane to look without using CGI and all that. Because the gentleman who plays Bane in Batman and Robin is ginormous. And he's
Swenson.
What I think Bane would look like is what I'm trying to say.
Well, in the comics, I'm a big Bane fan. There's been different iterations of Bane. The one you saw in The Dark Knight Rises is not a new one. The look is, in terms of the mask, but the body, there has been portrayals of Bane where he is not a steroid up guy, and in fact, he doesn't have the Venom drug necessarily. He just, has the pain bay, but he's also just ripped, and he's built more of I guess you'd say a military guy, But this Bane, this has been done a million times. The luchador mask and all that. Why he was green is beyond me. His veins were green and black for some reason. If you look and his fingernails are green, it's just very
I don't
weird.
think I've ever noticed that.
If you look at little things, his skin is not normal. He's green, and I guess it's just the venom within him. But this Bane was absolutely atrocious. He's dumb. He says only the last word that Poison Ivy just said, and he doesn't think for himself. But he can drive.
He can. He's a great driver.
For some reason, he can drive him Poison Ivy around. But Bane is supposed to be a genius, and this
he's a complete juice head.
This is a dumbass.
Like almost literally in this movie.
They portray him like a juice head would. I can't think, and I can only lift things. Poison Ivy, I don't think she was terrible. I mean, she talked like an idiot. I didn't like the accent she threw in for no reason.
I'm not an Uma Thurman fan. It seemed like every line was like a pun. Some sort of joke or cliche.
Everything was.
I think she played it as well as she possibly could.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that they chose Poison Ivy. I mean, by this time, the animated series I think it was finished at this point. So a lot of characters were either introduced into Batmore.
Yeah, it was, but they had...
Or brought back more into the mainstream. Poison Ivy wasn't very well known, but she was utilized quite often in the animated series.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why they brought her, maybe to capitalize on that popularity.
And they hadn't done her yet.
They hadn't done her. Mr. Freeze, I felt like after you do Joker and Catwoman, Penguin, and Riddler and Two-Face, I think Mr. Freeze was the next logical step.
Yeah.
And Poison Ivy was certainly up there. But this movie is just, I mean, we can talk for hours about what's wrong with this movie, all the cliches like the Robin motorcycle going through the wall, and the damage is the logo. That's been talked about many times.
The obsessive nature of Gotham thugs with the neon.
Yeah, this is a very bright movie, and that's sort of begun with Batman Forever, Schumacher's first.
Yeah.
Whereas the Burton was very dark, very, very gritty looking.
Looked like a real city.
Looked like
there
a real
wasn't
city.
Monuments.
But
this is the worst Gotham in the world.
Batman Forever was a little brighter. There was some neon splashed in, but this just like Batman and Robin cranked up the color to 11.
Everybody is obsessed with neon lights in this film.
So 90s.
My favorite thing about this film is when the police go over Poison Ivy and Bane arriving to Gotham via pictures from a photographer, and they're both wearing top hats and coats. And Bane has his mask on with a hat on, and he's just got his trench coat.
Yep.
And that's how they walked through security. So maybe that's the reason why things are truly beefed up at airports.
That
was an oversight in the 90s. Not now.
No. Batman's first appearance, first scene, he enters the room like Fred Flintstone.
Yeah.
And slides on the back of a dinosaur.
Yeah. Hello, Freeze on Batman.
Yeah.
Before that, the line about this is why Superman works alone, And then right after that, they cut to Alfred just grabbing his heart.
Yeah.
You're like, damn, this is weird.
Drama.
And then the introduction via the computer when he says Mr. Freeze, and I think all Batman goes is Mr. Freeze, and that's basically it. He just reiterates his name.
On with the movie.
Yeah, the hockey team from hell.
However, Mr. Freeze is probably the most sympathetic villain since the Penguin. I thought they developed that story pretty well with his wife, who coincidentally has the same disease as Alfred.
Yeah.
And they need to find a cure.
They could have. Mr. Freeze needs a redo because he is he is probably the most sympathetic villain because he only commits crimes because he has to, essentially. He's only doing it for his wife. And this is the second episode I'm saying it again. Mr. Freeze on Gotham, a lot better than this one.
Never saw it.
Because he actually is not enjoying the fact that he has to break the law. He's doing it because his wife is dying.
Interesting.
And his character on the big screen needs a redo because he's not happy. He's not having his thugs sing He's Mr.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah?
Yeah. He's not wearing fuzzy slippers and for some reason has a cigar in his mouth.
Because he's Arnold. I think that was in Arnold's contract.
Probably.
He's got to have a cigar.
But Mr. Freeze needs a redo because you can make him so sympathetic you'll almost cheer for him. And this Mr. Freeze was just... It was crazy. When they went for the sympathy role, I think they struck out personally.
Started in Batman Forever, this movie continues the tradition. The villains have sidekicks.
Yes.
Batman Forever is Drew Barrymore.
Vivica A. Fox.
Yes, Vivica A. Fox. The Schumacher films... They get a lot. They get criticized for their homoerotic tendency, shall we say?
Yeah.
They got the bat-nipples, the bat-bulges, the bat-butts.
Yes.
But he has a tendency to put some very beautiful women in lingerie in his films, which no complaints for me.
Yeah.
I totally forgot that Jesse the Body Ventura was in this movie.
Yeah, as a guard.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was interesting. I wish they would have killed him in the movie, but that has nothing to do with how I feel about him in real life.
And that's as political as our videos will get.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Rikos, we have survived the Joel Schumacher duo. You know what's coming up next?
Yeah, the best ones. No matter what anybody says, the best ones.
If you were entertained by this video, I hope you find your way to the like and subscribe buttons. Are you on social media?
I am Nikos Rikos. Or just type my name into the search engine on your search engine social media search engines. You'll find me.
Links are in the description. We'll see you for the Nolan trilogy.